Okay, this is an interesting question. How did you both meet each other?
A blind date.
Blind date?
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Oh my god, I never...
Yeah, Grandpa had met a friend of ours, Alfred, on shipboard. He went to Europe. Was it?
Yes.
On a trip to Europe,
On a
yes.
trip to Europe.
About what, 1924, 25?
1924 was the date.
1924. And I knew Alfred's brother. Alfred's mother was a very philanthropic woman. They were always giving theater parties, different theaters. And this was a vaudeville place at Riverside Drive on the Broadway. And they were forming a big party. So Alfred said, I'm going to send a friend of mine. Randy Kaufman, do you know him? I said, no, I don't. So he sent him over, and I took one look at him, and I said, yes, not to him. That's for me. But we weren't married right away.
No.
We didn't even keep company, if you can call it that. We saw each other. And about a year later,
Well,
didn't even
well,
remember.
no, we were married in 28.
That's right.
So
That's right.
How did your parents get to America?
my parents.
Yeah.
Well, now well, I told you about on my father's side. On my mother's side, it was also, he was a Polish. He came from Poland, if I pronounce the town right, Częstochowa. And he came here, and there were, I think, 5 children. But he must have been a tailor, I imagine, in Poland. And at that time, my mother and the older uncle, older brother, and the grandfather were worked on piecework. At that time, they used to give it out for homework. And eventually, my mother got into dressmaking. And then after that, she was quite well known as a designer of women's dresses, manufacturing women's dresses.
Now, Grandma, what about
Yes.
your father and mother?
My father and mother met in St. Mary's.
But where did they come from?
Oh yes.
Oh,
They both came from Russia.
oh, both came from Russia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so...
They didn't know each other there. They were
Oh.
kids when they came over. You know, my mother was about 5 or 6. My
Oh,
father was a little bit older. My father had family in New York, though, too.
So,
And in those days, my father's mother lived in the Lower East Side, and I even remember going down to visit them in the wintertime. And there were horse-drawn buses then. You didn't have buses, motorized.
Really trolleys.
There were trolleys, that's right, trolleys drawn by horses. And in the middle of this trolley was a big pot-belly stove. In the wintertime, it kept you nice and warm.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Were there any famous people in our family? Because I heard once, I think either you told me once on the telephone or my mother told me that somebody either invented like a certain kind of gas, a mask or a tank.
No, it was an oxygen tent.
Oh,
It was Dr. Alvin Barrick. He was a professor up at PNS. And he was on the staff of the Presbyterian Hospital all of his lifetime. He invented the oxygen tent, which saved very, very, very many lives, pneumonia cases. At that time, there was nothing that you could get. Today, pneumonia is a simple kind of thing to cure with antibiotics. At that time, a person couldn't breathe too well with that kind of a lung disease. And if they placed him in this oxygen tent, and they put the pure oxygen flowing in and the bad air coming out, he had a wonderful chance of living. He also really was the first one to invent air conditioning.
really?
Yes, in his office, he had set it up. He had a very good friend, Swope, who was with the,
General Electric.
what was it?
General Electric.
General Electric, that's right. And when he saw it, he said, look, Alvin, do you mind if I send some of my men down, my technique
Technicians.
advisors, to look at it? And he said, no, come on, it's all right. And they came down and copied it, and that was it. He never got any credit for it.
Oh,
Right.
that's really interesting.
It was interesting.
You mean the air conditioner that we use today?
Mm-hmm.
That
It was
was
simpler,
that
a
was-
simpler version of it, though.
Oh.
And we had one other cousin. He was, I don't think you girls and boys will remember this. There was the old newspaper, The Globe.
no.
No, and he was, wrote a column called Around the Town with S.J. Kaufman, and he reviewed the theater, the plays, the movies, all the restaurants. and where to go after dark or, during the day, so on and so forth. He was really the one that put, anyone know Reuben's restaurant?
No.
In New York? No. But it was a wonderful place where you could go after theater. They served marvelous sandwiches and so on. And Mr. S.J. Kaufman suggested to Mr. Rubin to name some of his sandwiches after the theatrical people, the actors and actresses, which he did, and it became a favorite place. He also introduced an outdoor cafe at the St. Moritz, and that was the first of the outdoor restaurants.
Were the teachers very strict in your school? And did they ever take like a ruler and bang you on the knuckles?
Not me.
Yes.
No. You?
They were?
I guess that was good.
I had a math teacher went around with a ruler.
Did he
Maybe
even-
that's why I'm so peculiar now, because you had to be fast and snappy with your answers. You couldn't linger. And he kept us on. He was the same fellow. He was our gym teacher and athletic coach. But he was a tough guy.
Really?
Yeah.
If he saw you running in the hall, what would he do?
If I saw what?
If he saw you running in the hall, not you, but anybody in your school running in the hall, what would he do?
Oh, well, there weren't those restrictions there unless we knocked the teacher down.
Well,
Be careful, Mr. Grossman.
No, but we didn't have those restrictions, and at that period we weren't so anxious to run so fast to the next class. We walked slowly.
I see there's this other picture right here. And what's this all about?
Well, now this is Grandpa Manny's first certificate, elementary school. It's 1903, and he was 6 years old.
You said it's like a report card.
It was a report card, and it says there, primary department, public education, Emmanuel Kaufman has been regular, punctual, and obedient. So he was good.
It doesn't look anything like...
Not like your
our-
report cards today, which are
cards.
very, 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 full of all kinds of explanations.
Yeah. Thank you, Grandma. This
You're
has been
welcome.
really interesting.
Well, good.
Thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.